Okay, so another alternative for texturing, we played with it in a previous video, but I want to expand on it a tiny bit more, and it is the use of the noise maker to create masks. And so I'm gonna go here right now. I'm on subdivision level 4. I may have to crank up to 5 because it's I need more resolution, but I'm gonna keep it to 4 just for now. So I'm gonna minimize here, and I'm gonna go to my surface section. I'm gonna go into noise. I'm not going to play in the noise part just yet. I'm going to turn off the 3D, go to UV here, bring this one down here, and I'm going to bring down the, actually connect here a texture that I created that I posted in the previous video, and that is a texture that I used, that I made a whole tileable texture in Photoshop. So I have it right here. I'm gonna just open it up, and the texture is loaded, and you can see I'm gonna just reduce here the mix between the basic noise and my alpha. I'm gonna scale it down to get it right. I'm gonna just modify the strength, so I get to see the texture a bit more clearly. And I'm going to go down in scale to get it to do what I want it to do. Now, which is great. The downside only is that by looking at the texture, it's look kind of sideways. On the legs, it kind of work, but on the body, kind of looks sideways. So I actually am going to probably use the legs as it is showing here, that the body, I'm going to use them differently. So I'm gonna keep it like that for now. I'm gonna just paint on the legs using this. So I'm gonna say this is just for the legs because the scales are kind of going. Let me zoom in a tiny bit more as to make sure that it's going correctly and roughly doing the job. It's upside down, it looks like. Yeah, they're kind of upside down, although it's not a big difference from one to the other one. I'll keep it like that just so I keep my video moving. So I'm gonna hit OK. And then that is applied to the whole thing, as we know already, but I'm gonna just say mask by noise. By masking by noise, hopefully the texture becomes a mask, only that the resolution is pretty low. You can see the pixels. So when I crank up my geometry to another level, okay, so it's not wanting to do it now because it's a bit too heavy. So we'll see. We'll just keep it like that then for now. I'm gonna have to delete my history or something in order to make it work. So here I'm gonna just try to turn off my alpha here and then try to paint on this body. But here are a couple options that I have. One of them is I can use while I paint, I can use at the same time my add, so I can use my standard material here, my standard brush to try to paint. I'm gonna turn off this guy, but try to paint a little bit here. You see it's coming off too much, and also it's coming out backwards. So I'm gonna inverse my mask. When I'm going to mask, I'm gonna inverse my mask. There we go. And I'm going to bring the Z intensity down. Let's say to something like this. So you slightly do a little bit less density. I'm doing slightly painting on it here. My resolution is not the greatest. Unfortunately, my computer is not doing what I was hoping it would, but I'm gonna try to go with it as it is now, so I can. I'm just gonna do a little bit of sculpting around the legs there. So it gives me the idea of those scales going down the leg. You could use it as an alpha too, but this is an option for you to try there. Now what I can do is here, I'm gonna say, okay, just simply go and using the same mask, I'm gonna turn off this, I'm gonna just go to RGB, and now I'm gonna start painting with some color, and I could just paint with a texture if I wanted to use different texture here. Just turn down the intensity a little bit. Let me change the tone, actually, the material to skin. That way I get to see the color more the way it's going to be. And then I'm texturing here. My object. It's gonna be like I'm gonna just apply color there. I'm gonna leave the white underneath. Probably I don't like that, but this will show you the idea. I might have to do it again because I forgot to include a basic color underneath. But you can go in and detail paint some of the textures a bit more. Now I have my scales applied. So I'm gonna simply just clear the mask, and you can see how the object received the not only the tactile texture, but the color texture. So actually going to just here, go and say color. I'm gonna fill the object first with that dark color. That way I can get a better look of that. Let me try to do the fill with a darker color. You do it like that. And then it's gonna, I think it's a white one that I'm gonna try using there. We're going to say color fill object. That makes it a little bit better. That way I can go this here. So now the thing going back to the body, because the body is kind of doing it okay here, and I can go there and paint some more. If I go back to, let me just finish the legs first, and then I go to do the body. Just quickly here, I'm gonna just zoom in one more, and go here and do under my noise again. Let me see where's my surface. Click on my noise, right? And right now I am going to say, if I edit my noise, it's the same noise that I should have before. It is that one. Something shouldn't be. We're going to say mask by noise. Hopefully there is active now. I'm going to invert it one more time. So inverse all, and this time I'm going to apply, maybe a darker greenish in some of those inner scales. If you're doing it correctly. Oh, I'm doing actually. Not sure I'm doing it correctly. I gotta inverse it again. I'm sorry. I'm gonna inverse it again. That's the way I want to apply. So apply some of those darker green tones inside of those. And again, it's all up to you how you want to paint them and do them happening. I'm going to change my color a little bit here to a darker tone. Maybe all the way to black at some point. All right, I'm just going to clear my mask so I can see a little bit of the effect showing in some of those little areas right there. It's up to you how you paint it, how you do your coloring is, but the cool thing is that the mask is still active and I can use it. Now, I want to do the body, and to do the body, I'm going to, let me use increment as my file here, and I want my computer to crash. So I'm going to say versus 8A, just like that. And then in order to change that noise in ZBrush to make it usable in the body, I tried rotating the texture inside of the noise maker, but for whatever reason, I could not get it to do it properly. I was able to rotate noise and everything on the actual noise, that is procedural noise that the program makes, there is. But I could not under my surface here, under my noise, if I want to edit the noise, I could not rotate the noise by moving it here. I'm not going to try now because I know it doesn't do it. So one idea that comes to mind here, and noting that my UV map is based, I'm gonna just frame here, my UV map is based on, let me just go, it's just right now, I was just thinking about it. There is, my UV maps are, the legs are horizontal and the body is vertical. That's why the scales work horizontally, but not vertically. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and just turn this off. I'm gonna go and minimize my program and then go to my Photoshop. And I have my Photoshop open here. And let me just close that one. I don't need it now. And I don't need the elephant either. And I don't need that one. I was planning to use that one, but I ended up using black. So here is the scale that I kind of duplicated and did. So I'm going to just duplicate this file, this layer. And I'm going to simply rotate so that transform, rotate, counterclockwise. What should I do actually that way? And I'm going to go and save this as a copy. And then on my computer here, I call it by app. I'm going to do by app 2. All right. And then I'm going to go to just say, okay. I'm going to go to my ZBrush. And now I'm going to go under my surface. And I should be able to edit and load my second texture there. We'll give it a second for it to find it. All right, so now the rest finally was able to open it. So I'm gonna go open my folder and there is the version 2 here. And there is my version 2. Let me just double check it here. You can see how it now makes more sense going along with the body. So I'm gonna use the same trick. Again, I'm not using it for the whole thing. I'm using it for just the body and the tail. So same thing here. I'm gonna just zoom in. Right now, what is allowing me to paint is on the cracks, so I can push in if I wanted. You simply use sub, and that way I can push inwards. I'll try to do the brush here. I'm gonna start pushing in. Sorry, I'm painting color there, not that. I'll try to just add. Actually, I'm painting color and subtracting, but I'm trying to make sure that I'm subtracting. It's my object losing too much volume, it looks like. And I don't want to make sure, I want to make sure that I don't lose the information that I need. So actually, let me undo that. I want to undo that, make sure that I am going to do it without the color first. All right, I turn off the color there. And I'm actually just add, if I add here, it's not doing it. Let me double check. Oh, I'm sorry, I was forgetting. I need to mask my noise. I was saying that why it's doing it, what's going on. I got getting confused because I have not applied the mask. There it is. So now I can just go invert the mask because I don't want it to, I want to pull out. So I'm going to go to the masking, invert the mask. All right, and now I can start pulling out some of those components. So that gives me a nice looking tail. and parts of the body. I'm not going to do the belly. All right, now the head. And then I'm going to just do the same trick on applying to the RGB here. And then again, I'm grabbing out the areas so I can start bringing some of that color out. Let me see if I can bring it, not the material, but the color a bit out from some of the scales. And you can be more detailed if you want on yours. I'm not spending a lot of time on mine right now, just showing the idea. And I invite you to be more detailed on yours to make it a lot cooler looking. Let me change the color toward the tail a bit more toward the oranges so that it becomes a bit cooler. All right, let's right there. Frame it. I'm gonna try to paint a bit more of that. There we go. And then I'm just going to just simply clear my mask and kind of, I can call my mask again if I lose it, right? I'm going to my surface. I'm going to just click on the noise and it's back again on, just mask my noise. And then I can just reverse it. And I can then start painting, actually reverse it again. Then as I will start painting a lot, maybe darker, greenish tones there. You decide how much you want to be doing it. All right. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of to do your texturing. All right, I clear my mask. You see there, you can go a bit more and spend more time on it if you want to. I probably should. This feels a bit crude still, but I hope it makes sense to you. And the last thing that you have pending is just simply exporting other textures back into Maya, which I'll do in the next video.